matter what you do, the truth is that you cannot build confidence. Hi, I'm Mawra Ishaque. I'm not an influencer. All my life, my self-esteem was in the gutter. I never had the courage to wear certain things or do certain things or, to even speak to people who I thought were tens. They were not. Fat people avoid doing a lot of things because they are afraid of getting judged, afraid of getting rejected. And it's not even all in our head, It's not like, hey, you know what? I think that I'm going to get rejected because I'm fat. Fat people get rejected. Fat people are judged. All through our lives, we are made to feel aware that, hey, you're fat and you should not be doing certain things. Or when you lose the weight, that is when you can wear that. When you lose the weight, you're going to get your dream partner. If you're someone who's fat right now and you're struggling with confidence, how do you build that? Sorry to burst your bubble, but you cannot build confidence. And if you're like, Mawra, you just wasted my friggin' time and I'm out of here, hear me out. Let me give you an example and you tell me if it resonates. So when you were a toddler and you were learning to walk, you walked 2-3 steps and then you fell down. You didn't stay there. You got back up, you tried again, and alhamdulillah, you're running, sprinting, doing whatever you can right now. But when you were 7 years old and you got the shiny new bicycle that you were very excited to ride, and you fell down. And mummy said, "Arey mera bachcha gir gaya." And papa said, "Mat kar, mat kar. Don't do it. You won't be able to do it." So you won't be able to do it, you won't be able to do it, you won't be able to do it, I won't be able to do it, I won't be able to do it, I won't be able to do it. So the words that were spoken to you became your thoughts. Every single thought that you have is borrowed. Either you read it somewhere, or you learned it somewhere, or you heard it somewhere, or it was reinforced to you across ages and stages. And if you grew up a fat person, you were either bullied, or all the fat jokes were directed at you, or people gave you random advice to lose weight, or they compared you with other people around you. What all these reinforcement did over the years is that it made you insecure. And that default state of confidence got further and further and further and further covered by that layer of insecurity. I'll give an example. I have a client who's 38 years old. During her entire adult life, she's not once worn sleeveless. So I asked her, dude, what's up? Why don't you wear sleeveless? No, it won't look good. I said, won't look good. Why? Because I have really big arms. I said, I see a lot of women who have really big arms and they're rocking sleeveless. I mean, I'm not working out currently because of the injury. So when I don't have a pump, my arms look fat. But why is it holding you back to the point that you're avoiding wearing sleeveless? So tell me one thing. When was the first time you stopped wearing sleeveless? She's like, so, when I was in school, I wore this really nice top and I came out. And my grandmother told me, your arms are looking like Dara Singh's arms, go cover it. And after that, I never really wore sleeveless. That one incident, which I don't think the grandmother even remembers, has prohibited her from wearing sleeveless all throughout her life. That is the impact of one incident in your childhood. And something like this has happened to all of us, whether it is for our weight, our skin color, our height, even academic performance. Even kids who were a little sickly, who would fall sick often, were often made to feel bad about it. And if, God forbid, you grew up in a joint family like I did, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, joint families are like this breeding ground for constant comparison. I have a very tight-knit bond with my cousins, but these adults constantly pitting us against each other was shitty. It was absolutely shitty. And all these shitty experiences over a period of time has made you learn insecurity. So what you really need to do is shift the focus from building confidence to unlearning insecurity. And how do you do that? Before I tell you, I am going to get a little technical, but it's really important for you to hear this part. The Adverse Childhood Experiences, or the ACE study, looks at the lives of children who went through sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional neglect, absent parents, and how all of those experiences affected their adult life. Most of these children who went through such experiences have chronic illnesses, mental disability. They are more likely to be incarcerated. They're more likely to be in dysfunctional jobs and relationships. So now if we look at it through the lens of the Indian cultural context, right? Most of us grew up with parents who are amazing people, right? They provided for us, they took care of our studies, they made sure that there was food on the table and that we had all the new shiny new toys. But what they didn't give us was an emotional safe space. They did not teach us to voice our emotions. They did not teach us to regulate our emotions. If you stood up for yourself, suppose a relative was putting you down and you kind of back answered them, that was seen as a sign of disrespect. As Indians, we give way too much shit to extended relatives. I remember when I was growing up, it was so common for relatives to come and constantly comment on someone's skin color or their height or their weight or give unsolicited advice. And obviously you can't back answer them because full kenchi zaban you'll have. Since I was like the fattest kid in the room, it was very easy for people to pick on me, whether it was in the name of compassion trolling or even like offhanded comments. Hey, you look like your dad. My dad is a man. I look like a man. In the mind of a 9-year-old, I was like, oh, I look like a man. I look like my dad. My dad is an amazing person. All my life, I thought that my parents never took my side. Someone just made me feel uncomfortable and they just stood there like sheepishly smiling. So I had this conversation with my mom much later. I'm like, you know what, mom, it really pains me that you never really shut those people up. And you know what, she actually got very emotional. She said that it hurt me so bad to see those people say all of those things to you or make fun of you, but those were elders. I could not have answered them. So in whatever strategic way she could, she shut them down. So the reason I'm saying this is like, it's probably not even their fault. Partly probably it is, but not completely their fault. But from allowing children to feel their emotions, to teaching them emotional regulation, to standing up for them, I think we missed out on that. And all of that has constantly led to us being more insecure. But if I can guarantee you, dude, you have the power to change that. And how do you do that? You have to unlearn the insecurities that were taught to you along the years. I have two approaches for doing that. Okay, one is the long-term approach. It fixes the fundamental issue of insecurity. And the other one is like a short-term pep talk that you really need a boost of confidence. The first thing that you need to do is make a list of everything that you're insecure about. I'm insecure about my weight. I'm insecure about my fat rolls. I'm insecure about my acne. I'm insecure about my thinning hair. I'm insecure about my stretch marks, my loose skin. So make a list of every damn thing that you're insecure about. Now let's take each point and ask yourself 3 questions. Is it actually true? Is it somewhat true? Or is it my opinion and not at all a fact? So I'm insecure about being fat. Is it actually true? Yes. I am like 35 kg overweight. Okay. So it's a fact. Now, can you change it completely? Partially? Not at all. I can change it completely. I can lose the weight. Okay. So now your approach should be, okay, how do I do that? How do I work on this? How do I lose the weight in a healthy way? That's out of the way. Second thing, I have stretch marks. Is it actually true? Is it somewhat true? Is it my opinion and not at all a fact? It is actually true. I can see the zebra lines on my body. All right. Can you change it completely, partially, or not at all? I can probably change it partially, like I can do derma rolling or go for certain procedures or get laser. All right, super. Now you know what to do, get to work on that. And then you're like, you know what, even if I do it partially, but there will be visual reminders, right? It won't completely go away and I will not have like the perfect smooth airbrush skin. So what do you do now? That's the thing. What you can't change, you accept. Self-acceptance is the trickiest thing to do. It's a day-to-day procedure. My perception of myself has been so wired to hate myself because of my weight ever since I was a kid that even now there are days when I wake up and I feel extremely insecure about my body. That is when the kind of conversation that you have with yourself comes into play. So self-acceptance is a completely different topic, but if I have to tell you 2 things when you work on self-acceptance, first is forgiveness. When you have to truly accept something for what it is, you really have to forgive people who did you wrong, and you really have to forgive yourself for accepting that to be your truth for so long. Self-acceptance starts with forgiveness. Once you forgive people and you make your peace with it, that's when you'll be able to do it. And I know it's easier said than done. It took me years to forgive some people, and some people honestly have not forgiven even now. But if you really want to do the deep work, I think that is where you need to start. Another powerful way to accept things that you're insecure about is to look at yourself as a complete package. What we do is we constantly look at ourselves through the lens of that insecurity. Like, I'm fat, I have stretch marks, I have loose skin, I have like thinning hair, whatever, XYZ. You're not just that. You are a lot of other things. Even like physical attribute wise, right? You have like pretty eyes, you have like a beautiful smile, you light up the room when you enter, you have like an amazing energy, you are a good friend, you're empathetic, you're kind, you're hardworking, you're dedicated. All of these makes you you. It is not just that one thing that you're insecure about. You are so much more than that. And that is where the concept of body neutrality comes into the picture. You need to be indifferent. I hate the concept of body positivity, but I do subscribe to the idea of body neutrality. It is what it is. But I am more than this thing that is making me insecure. And if someone doesn't like it, it's their problem. You need to like yourself. Because when you're okay with who you are, you show up as a more authentic version of you. And that is the ultimate goal in life, is to live your authentic version. You're more than that. You're more than the insecurities. Okay, so that was the deeper work that will probably take months, if not years. I'm going to be honest with you. But what if you need that instant burst of confidence? Here are a couple of things that you need to do. If you need an instant boost, if you have an interview or a big date, good luck. Okay. I want everyone to find love. Okay. The first thing that you need to do if you want that instant burst of confidence is tap into other positive experiences in your life, right? So remember the time when you did something, like you went on stage, or you won something, or you performed somewhere, or you did well in some area, and draw from that positive experience. How were you feeling back then? And visualize that, relive it, feel the same emotions that you felt at that point of time. So when you get into that zone, it's easier for you to put yourself in that state where you're like, okay, I got this. And then go out, nail the interview. I don't want to say nail the date, but good luck with the date. Tip number 2, use Alan Watts' backward law to your advantage. Whenever we obsess over something, it gets difficult to obtain. So do not romanticize the outcome. Let it go. Whatever happens, happens for the best. Just go out there, have a nice time, be your best self. And remember, you're going to be okay no matter what. Because if something's meant for you, it will be for you. Tip number 3, play to your advantage, to whatever strengths that you have. If you think that you look better in like pleated pants, then wear that. Wear like cute necklaces, nice shoes, smell good. Whatever your strengths are, amplify those. It will give you an instant boost of confidence. And the last tip for that instant boost of confidence is have your own personal mantra. I don't want to get too hippie-ish, but the words that you tell yourself is very powerful. And everything that you tell yourself is an affirmation. You may not believe in affirmations, but everything that you tell yourself is an affirmation. So if you tell yourself, I look fat in this dress, it's an affirmation. I don't think my date would like me, it's an affirmation. Change that conversation. I look amazing in this dress. My date would be lucky to go out with someone like me. Bring a set of positive affirmations. Talk to yourself positively, because these would trigger emotions, and emotions, well, they're everything.